Welcome back. This is the next journey from the book Truth, the Absolute Truth, so help me God, of my interdimensional life. I married at the age of 24. Back then I was quite a catch. Slim, blonde, rode a 500cc Kawasaki motorbike and worked for a newspaper earning a good salary. The marriage didn't last long and I left him 2.5 years later. I went to see a medium lady with my friend Claire. The medium was concerned and advised me to leave him that very afternoon, stating for me not to worry, that I wasn't going to die, which was something that was quite mysterious to say. The medium also told me I had a gift, and when they come to me, just say, "I'm not ready, please go away," which I did a lot until they wouldn't go away, and now I see them every day and everywhere. I have seen and experienced unimaginable things during my life here on earth, and even in dream time. The dreams don't leave when I wake, they become memories. My living empirical memoirs and my dreaming empirical memoirs. Or should I say memories? 2 years after leaving my husband, I met my daughter's father one night at Claire's house. Claire's fella suggested we go to Alderley Edge. So we all got in the car and we went up there to Alderley Edge in the still of night, which was quite a silly thing to do, really, come to think of it. However, when up on the stone ledge, something very strange happened. Suddenly, there was sound of electricity travelling through the trees, crackling and zapping. Bearing in mind there are no electric cables in that region. It's too high up. I believe it's called Devil's Ridge as well. It spooked us so much so that we made haste down the hill to the car. I was later to come across the legend connected to Alderley Edge, and it stated if the Holy Grail was to go there, the sleeping knight would be awakened. Makes me wonder if that's what the crackling and zapping was. It was definitely paranormal what happened that night. When I visited there again some considerable years later, I had a dream of an ancient bald-headed Indian monk with pointed ears, wearing a red and white sash skirt and cloth over the shoulders. He shuffled as he walked and was fed through a hole in the wall. I don't know if he was imprisoned there or deliberately locked himself away in order to learn how to astral project. Like the monks do, the Tibetan monks. He definitely lived underground in the caves there. Lost track, sorry. I read a book once about Losam Rampa. He spoke of monks locking themselves away in caves in order to learn how to astral project. I don't know why, because I've done it lots of times. And I mastered meditation and astral projection. I will go into that later in the book. My daughter's father left me when I was 4 months pregnant, and I didn't see him until a couple of weeks before giving birth. I'm not a spiteful person, so when he asked to be notified when the baby was born, I did and permitted him to see her. Although sometime down the line, when he didn't visit for months on end, I gave him the ultimatum of walking away or being consistent, that he should not come in and out of her life when it suited him. He chose to be in her life. When he embarked on his new relationship. I welcomed them as a couple and often cooked Sunday dinner. She was lovely, and I thought they would marry one day. However, sadly, that wasn't to be. I healed her wing scapula with electromagnetic light therapy. She came one day with Jamie and was in excruciating pain with the bone in her shoulder, her back shoulder. It was protruding some 4 inches out. She asked me if I could do light therapy. So my initial thought was to use an orange 60-watt bulb. The old-fashioned bulbs, not the aluminum ones you have today. When I placed the light on, a flash of blue-green light shot out from her shoulder. I got the coloured bulb. These are bulbs that I was practicing at university. I painted them all in glass paint, so I had an array of colours. In fact, I had bulbs of every colour you could think of. Anyway, I went to get the coloured bulb, and as soon as I put that on her shoulder, the muscle began to twitch and spasm. Within days, it had gone back into her shoulder, and within a week, she was completely healed. So the electromagnetic light therapy actually healed her wing scapula. In my 30s, while studying as a mature student at John Moores University in 2002 to 2005, I was experimenting with coloured magnetic light therapy, how light, colour, vibrations and magnetics interact with the physiology, the psychology of the individual. This form of therapy would eradicate flu within 2 days. Back then, it was the old 60-watt bulbs. I had a collection of them all painted in glass paint, varying colours. I have an invention in my head for a light shower, a bit like Stargate. Although it could be used, I would say, as non-invasive surgery, because they say that with a wing scapula, the only way to actually heal it is for the major operation. And she was due to go in for an operation. They have to cut all the way down the front, round the side, and up into the back. I believe it's quite a big operation. Anyway, leading up to my spiritual awakening, a series of events, people happened in my life. My mum's husband ran off with the next door neighbour, and so my mum saw somebody advertising for a room. So she had this lodger living with her. He was eccentric, and once I observed him communicating with his tattoo. One day, a strange gypsy woman with a child came knocking at my front door. I was cleaning and I had a lot of clutter in front of the front door, so I spoke with her through the window, explaining I was in the middle of cleaning. She said she would come back and for me to be sure to open the door. She was Irish, which I did. Then she went across the road to one of my neighbours, then missed houses to visit another neighbour's house. Strangely, both of these neighbours were single parents, and we all had children, daughters. I questioned why she didn't go to any of the other houses in the street, just us 3 mothers. Anyway, I finished cleaning. By the time she returned, I let her in through the back door. My daughter was playing with her daughter on the carpet as she placed a small glass sphere into the palm of my hand and stared into it, kind of like going into a trance. When she came out of the trance, she told me I didn't belong here. I, at that time, assumed she was referring to the flat that I was stuck in and my situation. You see, I'd been waiting and waiting and waiting for a house, and something was blocking my move. Why? You will later discover. Anyway, this gypsy lady handed me a cloudy pale blue stone and told me I was going to have twin boys, giving me instructions to place the stone under my pillow each night and wash it in the morning, then place it again for a period of 21 days, stating this would cleanse negative past energies. Then she told me to throw the stone on the land at the back. When she was leaving, her daughter tried to re-enter through the back door, and she was quickly intercepted by the gypsy, who said no and turned her around quite abruptly. Then she said that that would be £70, also asking if I had a gift for her child, stating that she normally charged £700 for what she had just done. I gave her a new DVD called The Nutcracker. Normally, I wouldn't have that kind of cash on me, being a struggling single parent at that time on benefit. Although mysteriously, the night before, I went to the TSB bank and mistakenly withdrew £70. Was that a coincidence or not? I questioned if it was. I noticed her daughter had one eye that turned outwards when they left. When I walked back into the flat, my head began to pound. It was the worst headache I had ever had, and it was so bad, so much so, I had to go and lie down on the bed, putting a DVD on for my daughter. The flat was so small, it was like the rooms were one. I could see into the living room from the bed. I rested for a while until the headache subsided. I didn't suspect at that time she could have put an EBGB on me, as I was rather naive and didn't think of such things. I did as instructed anyway for the stated period, thinking it would help me get out of the one-bedroom flat I was stuck in, although it didn't work actually. Some weeks later, at the weekend, I went to visit my mum, and her lodger asked me to feel the 3 lumps on his head. Stupidly, I touched the crown of his head, and then he turned around and looked at me in the eye, saying he was 666 and that he was the devil. My mum told him off, and I was shocked, stunned. I didn't know how to respond. I was approaching the second year at university. My spiritual awakening came in the early hours during the summer holidays. I was awoken by a non-human voice, and my daughter was sat on the bed speaking to someone. She turned to me saying, "Mummy, the gateway's been opened and the king is coming." From that moment on, my life changed drastically, as if I had been taken from my own realm and plonked into an alternate reality. The journey I was about to embark upon and the decades of suffering endured is a miracle I am still here. Until my next journey. Bye for now.